What's up, everyone? It's Skylar Callahan and Christopher Hall. It is the Mountaineer Postgame Show. West Virginia getting back in the win column 72-61 over the Utah Utes, welcoming back former WVU assistant interim coach Josh Eilert. We'll talk about the game here in just a second, but of course, let's go ahead and dive into the numbers in this one. And yes, I know I usually feature the leading scorer here, which was Amani Hansberry at 17 points, but I've got to talk about Joe Yesufu. This has been 4 straight games now where he's provided a little bit of a spark off the bench. He had 14 points on 6 of 10 shooting from the field. Javon Small, 14 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. And for Utah, it was Keanu Reeves who had a double-double, 14 points and 11 boards. And to me, Chris, the biggest stat that I take out of this one is the rebounding. I know that West Virginia was -2 in that category, but the fact that they competed that much on the glass against one of the best rebounding teams in the country is pretty impressive, and I think is what helped keep them not only in the lead for the most part, but allow them to get to the finish line with the win.
Yeah, it was crucial. They kept them under double-digit offensive rebounds, only by 1, but as we know, those can be huge swings in a game, really. If you look at some of the losses, they really come down to a handful of possessions, even some of those double-digit losses. So, yeah, rebounding was key. I thought the maximizing their points off of turnovers. In the first half, I think they forced 6 over the midway point in the first half and got 12 points off of it. So when you can make them pay for your mistakes, that's obviously going to be critical. But we've seen even when they've done well on offensive rebounds, it's really been in those last 5 minutes, those closing minutes, really been the killer. But they did a great job. Of course, they had a little bit more separation than usual. And then you got to mention Jonathan Powell there down the stretch. I mean, hit a big 3, hit a mid-range jumper to end the stopper run right inside the 3-point line. So he played terrific in really in all phases: offense, defense, rebounding. He was a little bit everywhere. And you mentioned yesterday, I think that's the 3rd straight game he's had double figures. So yeah, he's really come alive here. Obviously, at the end of the season here when you need it most.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it it sounds like or feels like forever now. With obviously got to find somebody else outside of Javon Small, but it's also kind of becoming known too that if it's not Javon, then it's got to be Amani or it's got to be JP. But to me, you've got to have all 5 guys being able to score the ball. It doesn't have to be at all 3 levels, but they've got to pose some sort of a threat, or else you're playing 3-on-5. And sometimes that's kind of the case because Sincere Harris, I mean, let's be honest, he just has not figured it out on the offensive end. Obviously not from 3, but even sometimes driving to the basket, it's a bit of an adventure for him. Toby Okani, the little mid-range floater, the 3-point shot, the mid-range shot, the finishing at the rim has just not been there for him at all. Those 2 guys in particular have to figure something out to where they can play 5-on-5, and that's when things really start to open up. Javon can really start attacking, and they're not smothering him maybe nearly as much. But I think the other thing I took away too, even though he only finished with 2 points, how about KJ Tenner getting a little bit more confidence in his shot offensively? Again, he's not somebody that's going to light the stat sheet up, but he needs to be able to start having a little bit more confidence in the offensive end. Just him starting to put up more shots. Joe Yesufu, obviously just letting it fly at this point, which is great to see. I love the fact that these 2 guys who aren't at the top of the scouting report are starting to take on a little bit more of a role.
Yeah, Tenner's main stat line: no turnovers in 7 minutes.
Yes.
That's why it was Small off the floor. So yeah, he's doing his job. He's finding his way. Like to get Eduardo Andre going again a little bit.
Scoreless.
But I think one of the biggest things, they got to do something about free throws. That was a very, very bad free throw shooting day. 13 of 23. I'm not going to cut it in most games. So
Especially Jonathan Powell too.
Yeah, they've got to clean that up. Eduardo came right out after the game, worked on free throws. I didn't see him make one by the time I went to the breeze. So he's going to have to really work on those free throws. And credit Javon Small, wasn't really getting a lot in the didn't get a lot of shots up. Only 5 shots, but went 9 of 9 from the free throw line to get to 14 points. So it's when everybody's doing a little bit of everything. Okani got a big rebound that kicked out the Yesufu 4-3 for the second chance opportunity. Throw on the floor to get the ball back. Drew a foul in this situation, so not great offensively for him. 4 of 12, but got in 9 points, but he had 2 big offensive rebounds. So it's a cumulative effect. Everybody's just got to kind of keep doing their role, keep improving a little bit, do all the little things, and they'll more often than not they'll find themselves on the winning side.
Now, we haven't talked about it on here at least since the news came out, but Tucker DeVries officially out for the season with the shoulder. Jaden Stone is going to sit the rest of the year, which we kind of all expected, really, both of those things to take place. So, with the news that those two are officially out, there's no more speculating or assuming it's official. What do you feel like is the ceiling for this team? Or I shouldn't say ceiling. We don't want to ever put a ceiling on them. What is the potential for this group as far as the rest of this Big 12 schedule is concerned? Do you feel like that they can get in a spot to where they can do enough to be able to get to the NCAA tournament and get a good spot in the Big 12 tournament?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even think they need to really even finish 500 at this point to get an NCAA tournament, dude. So,
Take care of
um,
business at home, really.
yeah, take care of business at home, and you finish at 500. So if you can get a steal one at Utah, it's going to be a tough place to play. Obviously at BYU as well. So none of these games are easy, as we saw today. You know, Utah was picked last, and they were coming into this game 5 and 6 right with West Virginia. So you know, you get Cincinnati home, should be a win. You've got plenty winnable games. There's none of the top level teams left, I believe. I could be
Texas Tech.
incorrect on
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Yep. So yeah, it is really really key to win these home games, and you still got to make up for that Arizona stuff. Arizona State loss at home, so you're gonna have to steal another one on the road somewhere. But then you should be fine. At that point, you should be good to go. Can definitely this to me this team, especially with Javon Small. If these guys around him can continue to make shots where all the focus is not entirely on him, they can make a run because Small's one of those guys that can get hot, and you can find these guys if they still got the legs, they can get hot, make a run in the Big 12, and then you get that day off in between. I still see this team as a possible Sweet 16 team.
Wow.
Of course, so much of that depends on the matchups. I mean, we
Yeah.
have not looked at the bracket; they could be terribly matched up the
You
first
might get
round.
Auburn in that
So
second round.
yeah, so you just don't know how that's all going to shake out. Probably Kentucky. Let's be honest. Actually, since Huggins and Calipari is no longer at either school, probably won't be Kentucky. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of lands. But yeah, they have a lot of growth still yet, and you can see them improve. You can see them still installing some different offensive plays, and playing a team like Utah that's so versatile on defense, that can throw a ton of things at you, is actually really good for the postseason, especially when it comes to the NCAA tournament. Because yeah, you got to get familiar with the Big 12, and we talked about it prior to this expansion. We played the same 9 teams every single year twice. So you got a
Yeah.
little too
A lot of
comfortable,
familiarity.
you got a little comfortable in that bubble. Well, now that it's expanded so much, you're seeing so many different things. When you bring in like an Arizona, obviously I still consider a blue black program, a Utah team that's always scrapping. Like when you bring these teams in, it's just going to add more variety and just more challenges throughout the season that kind of prepare you for the postseason. So even as good as the Big 12 was and physical it was, playing Kansas twice, playing all the teams twice, I think this setup, I missed the round robin format. I think this setup better prepares them for the postseason, and it should just give them an edge. I don't even know with an edge because there's so many big conferences, but the teams like the conferences like the ACC that had all the teams,
Yeah.
SEC, like they kind of had that. You can kind of see it, in the postseason, kind of benefiting them. And obviously, there's some good teams.
I would like to make one change though. Let's get rid of the 20 game schedule. That's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this league is already the toughest in the country.
Everybody's doing
And
it, so
I
I'm
know,
all into it.
but there's some leagues that aren't. And I feel like if you go back to 18, you're allowing yourself to get two extra wins more than likely, or at least one. It's a brutal schedule. I
Don't
would
be
love to
soft.
see it
Nope,
go back to 18.
too many teams for that. We got to get UCF,
I
especially for West Virginia. You got to have that UCF. You want to play
Yeah,
anybody, and you got to play UCF twice and play Cincinnati
Cincinnati
twice.
twice,
No, so
but
you need that travel.
I
Even though Central Florida, I don't even. Orlando's probably about the same flight as maybe
Iowa
not
State
as Iowa State, but
or Kansas or somewhere.
who knows?
But yeah,
There's a
I'm
lot of
not good
odds.
at
Things are happening.
I really do think that they're going to change that. I know that there has been talk about that it could be a one and done thing. I don't know if it'll be 1 year and done. We'll see, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how
They're more
they
than
play
likely
things
to
out.
add games at this point.
Oh
than take
God.
away because it would
Yeah.
just mean money. This is a money driven business, so
I
they're
mean
not going
it.
to take away.
Yeah, I mean
That's not
it is the same commissioner that flirted with Gonzaga, that flirted with UConn's.
happening. They're more likely to go to 22 and go back to 18.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean I agree with you. I think if they can lock in defensively like they have, I mean they've been one of the better defensive teams statistically all year long, but if they can be that every single night because there's been some times where it just hasn't showed up or maybe there's spurts where it kind of goes away and that's what leads to a loss, like the TCU game where they just kind of like fell apart defensively there for a stretch and that was what helped led them to losing that game. If they can play at elite level defensively for 35-ish minutes a night, they're going to be a
Gotta be
team that's going
40.
to give.
You can maybe give it up the first
Yeah,
five, but that last five better not be that last
right,
five because
right.
that's where they've lost.
Yeah, we got to be careful with where we put that five, but yeah, it's a manageable schedule for sure, and one that I think that they can again if they take care of business at home and like you said, maybe steal one on the road, whether that be Baylor. I don't know if you're going to beat
I think
Texas
they might
Tech,
steal
but
one on the road and take care of home from my season prediction. We're falling
yes,
right in line with it. I said 19 and 12, 13, whatever, 11, 9 and Big 12. So I'm
I
right
was a little
there.
more skeptical, and I think I said 16 and 15, so they need one more to get to my mark. So, but hey, I don't think anybody
I need a
saw them
little help.
being at this point in the season. What are they now? 15 and 8. I don't think anyone saw that coming. So,
Me, I just
uh,
said, I just said we were
I
right
don't
on
believe you.
pace.
But
And
anyways,
they can do better than my prediction. I'm okay with that.
it's been very strong start to the season. We'll admit that, and they have a chance to continue to add to that resume on Tuesday. They'll take on BYU, who's been playing much better of late. Tip off at 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. That one in Morgantown, and then they'll have a few days off before hitting the road to take on Baylor on next Saturday. So, West Virginia 72, Utah 61. That'll do it for us here tonight on the Mountaineer Postgame Show. I'm Skylar Callahan. That's Christopher Hall. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube page if you haven't already at West Virginia on SI, and give us a follow on X at SI_WVU. Thank you and have a great night.